my name is Rob, Happy New Year and welcome to Metal Monthly. This is a video series where we talk about everything that happened in metal music over the past month. So let's start with the albums. What albums came out last month? So according to the Wikipedia article I used to find out what albums came out, there were only 11 in December of 2022. And they were all of bands that I'd only vaguely heard of but had the most metal sounding names ever. Destroyer 666, Rotting Christ, Ripper, and Hammers of Misfortune. They sound like fake names you'd come up with for a stereotypical metal band. So normally for these videos I like to listen to the albums I think most people will have heard of. I couldn't do that this month. I just picked a few at random and I had no idea what to expect. So let's find out how they were. First off, Amberian Dawn, Take a Chance, a metal tribute to ABBA. Yes, seriously. Now, for a metal tribute to ABBA, this was far closer to ABBA than I was expecting. I thought it was going to go more the metal route. But that's a good thing because it sounded really good. The singer sounded like she could have been in ABBA, and the rest of the music sounded very light metal. The drums were kind of in the background, they just kept the pace, they didn't draw focus, and the guitar was very 80s metal, and sometimes it built to something really heavy, but generally it was quite light and in the background. So basically, it's ABBA covers with a light metal backing, which honestly I think is a good thing, because I think you could play this to an ABBA fan, and they would enjoy it. Next up, Hammers of Misfortune with Overtaker. So this is a great heavy metal band. They played fast, heavy music, the vocals were fantastic, but the whole thing played a very strange time signature that I just could not get into. It was like that episode of Bob's Burgers where Jimmy Jr. tried to dance to a music in a 9/8 time signature. It's annoying because the band did some really interesting things. The vocals were clean, but they were kind of groaning in places. They sounded very kind of demonic. It was interesting and cool, but I just could not get into the album because of the time signature. I just couldn't listen to it. It sounded off. And finally we have Nemophilia with Seize the Fate. I kept misreading that band name as Nemophilia and thinking, well, what is the sexual kink? What is Nemophilia? And then I had to reread it and go, oh, it's Nemophilia, which is a flower, which is weird. So this is a fantastic metal band. They have some very fast, heavy guitars and drums, and the singer has got some very lovely, clean vocals. They contrast great with the heavy metal, and she sings in both Japanese and English, which is really cool, but really weird when you hear her sing some English and you go, oh, I can hear that, I can understand those lyrics, and then she switches to Japanese. And it's the same person singing, but you're like, what are these words? What is she singing? It's a very weird experience. The singing still has that kind of pop bouncy vibe, kind of like baby metal does. If you've listened to baby metal, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. It's very weird to hear that in this metal band. And again, this band does some weird and interesting things. In one of the songs, they've got some traditional Japanese instruments in the background of the heavy metal song, which is weird to listen to, but really cool, and it really stands out. Overall, this was the best album I listened to this month by a country mile. It was amazing, check it out. And now the annual section of what was my favourite album of the year. But first, here are my top 5 runner-up albums that are all absolutely fantastic. Here they are in no particular order, possibly the order they actually came out chronologically, but I'm not really sure, I forget how I wrote it down. Anyway, Lawnmower Death with Blunt Cutters, Napalm Death, Resentment is Always Seismic, a final throw of throws, Municipal Waste, Electrified Brain, Parkway Drive, Darker Still, Slipknot, The End So Far, and finally my absolute top album of 2022 was Korn with Requiem. This is a fantastic album. I'm already a massive Korn fan, and this was just like Korn going back to like traditional Korn. It was fantastic. Their last album, The Nothing, was also fantastic, but sounded more like they were going to like a Slipknot kind of style. This is more like Korn going back to their like 90s style. It's great. It's just old Korn, but new songs, and they sound better. It was a fantastic album. What was your favourite album of last year? Let me know in the comments. Next up we have Music Festival Explorer. This is my website where I talk about heavy metal music, music in general, music festivals, everything within that sphere. In the past month I have written a blog post on the absolute worst Christmas song you've ever heard. It is out of touch, tone deaf, offensive, it's everything awful, and yet it's incredibly very much related to Christmas. Now I know this is January the 1st, you probably don't want to think about Christmas anymore, but I wrote this in December. This was the blog post I had. Read it or don't, I don't care. Please read it, there's a link in the description. And finally we have the fun story from December. Every Christmas, everyone and their mum is doing a Christmas single for charity. The very divisive Lad Baby often do one, usually about sausage rolls or something. Beard Meets Food did one this year, but one that you may not have heard about this year is This Christmas Time by Evermore. So this track was by Evermore, who are a collective of artists and musicians who create music in order to fundraise for cancer charities. So last month they released the song This Christmas Time, which is about the Christmas truce in World War I. It is a beautiful anti-war Christmas song. It's really good. It's maybe a bit too slow and downbeat to become a Christmas classic, but it is really good and I recommend you check it out. But the reason I'm talking about this song in this video is because the song opens with a 3-minute narration reading out segments of letters that soldiers sent home during World War I about the Christmas truce. And that narration is read by Ozzy Osbourne. It's really cool hearing Ozzy Osbourne read out all these old letters. It's really cool. It reminds me of there's a song 1916 by Lemmy. Similar kind of thing. Annoyingly, Ozzy's audio is dreadful. I really wish they'd re-recorded it or cleaned it a bit better. It's really annoying that it's so bad, but it is interesting to listen to him tell these stories, and then it's a really good song after it. You should check it out. There is a link in the description. Again, I know that is a Christmas related story, but I recorded this in mid-December. What do you want from me? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you had, I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas and a happy new year and that you're excited for everything coming in 2023. If you've liked this video, please do click like and subscribe wherever those buttons are. It means a lot to me. It really helps me out. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Rob and I will see you in another video very soon.